What is this?
This is a parking lot.
I stepped outside, half awake, coffee in hand, and the sight hit me harder than a punch. 35 yellow parking bars drilled into my driveway like prison spikes, stretching from gate to garage wall, like someone wanted to cage my home. I live in a mansion set on 5 acres of green land. Tall pines, a circular driveway wide enough to host weddings and hell, maybe even a parade. I worked 30 years straight, built my business from dirt. I finally bought my dream home, a place supposed to feel like peace and retirement. But instead, it became a war zone with the HOA that called themselves protectors of community standards. I paid dues. I waved to neighbors. I planted flowers in spring like a normal dude. But the HOA board was hungry for power like dogs around a steak. They loved rules more than common sense. They wanted control over lawns, fences, trash bins, grass length, mailbox color, and even how loud your laugh should be. I swear sometimes they drove around slow just to sniff for violations. At first I ignored them, but then came the day everything collapsed like a cheap folding chair. I woke up, opened my front door, and saw a construction crew welding bright yellow parking bars all across my circular driveway. Not one, not two, but 35 metal bars drilled into fresh concrete, lined like prison spikes, blocking every exit. The crew did not ask. They said HOA approved it for parking discipline. They treated my house like a public lot, like I was some kind of weekend event center. I stood there stunned, like someone slapped me in the face and told me to smile. I asked where the permit was. The guy shrugged and said HOA authorization is enough. I wanted to laugh, but anger tasted stronger. I asked for the project manager, and he pointed to a clipboard with a sheet saying, Community Ordinance Enhancement. My name was not on it. No signature. No county stamp. Just scribbles from power-drunk neighbors who believed they could do anything. I confronted the HOA president, a 50-year-old Karen named Meredith. Hair straw blonde, sunglasses indoors, voice sharp like broken glass. Meredith told me, You do not own appearance rights. You own walls and roof, but outdoor visibility falls under communal governance. I felt my blood pressure rise. Your metal parking bars are on my property, I told her. She smirked and said, Our lawyers disagree? Good luck fighting us. That sentence hit me like a punch. Meredith thought she won, but she poked the wrong bear. I researched county building code for 6 hours. Found out every permanent structure modification requires a construction permit from City Hall, not HOA. This project had none. Not even a fake stamped copy. These bars were illegal, and I was about to use that like a sledgehammer. But I wanted evidence first. I filmed everything, the workers, the papers, the holes, the invoices. I requested public record access like a detective tracking missing treasure. In the clerk office I waited 3 hours, surrounded by flickering lights and dusty files. The clerk looked up and said, There's no permit under your address. I felt a grin stretch across my face. That moment tasted like victory, but I knew it was just round one. At sunset I returned home and found a fine notice pinned to my door. Unauthorized obstruction in driveway. You have 48 hours to pay or face lien. They dared to fine me for a project they installed themselves. HOA was not just crazy, they were cartoon villain level insane. I took the notice, sat in my car, lights off, thinking. This was beyond petty. This was invasion. They wanted control, land, power, maybe even my property if I broke under pressure. I needed to fight smart. I needed proof and allies. Next day I called a county inspector. He arrived slow, wearing boots heavy with authority. He looked at the bars, shook his head and said, This is violation of property modification law. Who approved this? When I told him HOA, he whistled low and said, They are not authorized for this. They will hate what comes next. A plan sparked in my brain like oil touching flame. Because if HOA does not have permit, I can apply for one, and remove everything legally. They cannot stop me. In fact, they might get fined and sued for misuse and trespass. This was not just defense. This was checkmate waiting to happen. But before I filed papers, before war truly began, something twisted the situation beyond anything I expected. The inspector told me, "Bring photos, bring HOA letters, bring survey maps. I will meet you tomorrow to file a complaint and a demolition permit." My heart raced like engine pistons. Finally, the power shifted to me. Next morning, I stepped outside, coffee in hand, and found my driveway packed with HOA members. 30 of them, standing like they were hosting a yard sale. Meredith front and center, grinning like she owned my lungs. She said, "We are here to celebrate completion of community parking upgrade." I almost spit my coffee. They did this to host events on my land. She wanted power, stage, glory, attention. Then she announced, "We will rent driveway space during holidays. All profits go to HOA funds." My hands trembled. My driveway, my property, my sweat built this house. And she wanted to monetize it like a carnival stand. And viewers, hear me loud, this was not just HOA. This was corporate-style land seizure disguised as neighborly care. I told them, "Leave. Now." My voice low, calm, deadly. Meredith smiled and said, "This is already approved. Try to move us and we file harassment." I walked inside, not because they scared me, but because I had a bigger move waiting. I grabbed all documents, video evidence, printed them, stacked like ammo. War was coming, and I was loaded. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real-life HOA confrontations. At county office, the inspector helped me file official permit to remove parking bars plus a complaint for illegal construction, trespassing, property seizure, and misuse of homeowner dues. Clerk stamped papers, loud like a gunshot. That stamp gave me power. Legal. Unstoppable. I left the building feeling taller than sky. My plan was simple. Hire demolition crew. Remove bars legally. Film everything. Expose HOA online. But twist incoming, because nothing ever stays smooth in wars like this. When I came home, a tow truck was dragging my own car off driveway, claiming parking outside designated zone. The parking zone created by HOA bars. The insanity hit new level. They used their illegal bars to find me, then tow my car. I recorded every second. Told driver, "Sir, this is illegal." He shrugged, orders from HOA. Not my fight. I posted video online. Within hours, it blew up. People furious, comments flooding, calling HOA a cult, dictatorship, money-hungry leeches. Then a news reporter messaged asking for interview. Suddenly spotlight pointed at Meredith, power no longer shielded by secrecy. HOA emergency meeting called same night. I attended. Walked into room, bright lights, sweaty faces. They tried intimidating me, throwing rulebooks like scripture. But I placed my permit on the table like an ace card. The room froze, silence heavy enough to crush bone. I said I pulled the permit. City-approved removal of every bar on my driveway starting tomorrow at sunrise. Any interference will result in police presence, and every HOA officer liable. Meredith's face strained like spilled milk. She tried claiming fraud, but Inspector walked in behind me like a silent hammer. He confirmed permit validity. He also announced investigation on HOA funds for possible embezzlement, misuse, and illegal modifications. The room cracked like glass. This should have been victory scene, but plot twisted again. Inspector leaned close and whispered, "HOA filed injunction to block your demolition. They bribed someone. They are desperate. Dangerous." This escalated to county court. This was no longer about bars. This was corruption, deep like roots of old trees. They wanted me silent. They wanted driveway. They wanted control, like suburban warlords. I could have backed off, but no. I had come too far. I gathered neighbors, others bullied, fined, threatened. A man charged $5,000 for a broken fence. A woman forced to replace mailbox for being 2 inches too tall. A family threatened lien for kids' toys outside. Victims, silent for years. We formed a group, help each other not HOA. We collected statements, signed affidavits, filed class complaint. Press loved it. Public loved it. HOA cracked like cheap plastic. Day before settlement, Meredith came alone. No sunglasses. No goons. Voice small. She offered deal, drop complaint, keep driveway peace. In return HOA would allow me what I already owned. I almost laughed. I said no. Because rot was deeper. Truth needed sunlight. Courtroom next morning, full. Press, neighbors, attorneys, all eyes forward. Judge entered. War begun. Every video. Every notice. Every threat. Tow truck footage on big screen, gasps everywhere. Judge asked HOA attorney, "Where is the county permit?" No answer. Dead air. Verdict hit like thunder. Construction illegal. Trespass confirmed. HOA fined heavily. Bars removed immediately. Meredith removed permanently. My driveway, mine again. Comment which state you tuned in from. Don't forget to like and subscribe so we can take HOA down in America. So here's how this circus started. But I didn't stop. I filed motion to dissolve board, replaced with elected community committee. Court approved. HOA dictatorship fell, like rotten wood. Freedom returned. Next morning sparks flew as demolition crew cut bars apart. 35 steel markers of tyranny died one by one. I stood there smiling, not out of revenge but justice. Meredith moved away months later, rejected from joining another HOA. Karma slow, sharp, perfect. Inspector returned, handed me compensation for damages, towing, legal costs. He smiled and said, "You changed more than driveway. You changed system." I walked along open pavement, clear sky above. No bars. No threats. Just home. HOA tried to cage me. But I pulled the permit, and caged them instead. This is not a driveway story. This is standing your ground. Fighting with law, truth, unity. When system works, corruption burns. Even mansion-sized problems fall like rusted steel. Don't forget to like and subscribe so we can take HOA down in America.